So I've been considering what to talk about next. While doing so, I stumbled across a streamer. I'm not sure exactly, but I saw a YouTube channel with clips of his content. The channel is called Artosis Broodwar Clips, and it features this player's gameplay. The video gameplay is from Starcraft Broodwar. For some background, it seems like this player struggles with other players within the Starcraft community. Regardless of how good a player this Artosis is, most of these clips showcase his negative attitude towards other players' tactics when challenging him. In this particular video, Artosis is fighting a Zerg player, allegedly winning, until the Zerg player creates a unit called a Defiler, and begins using one of their abilities called Dark Swarm. Now, I played Starcraft Broodwar back in high school, but was only vaguely familiar with the Defiler and its Dark Swarm ability. According to the Starcraft Wiki, Dark Swarm prevents all units under its cover from taking ranged-type weapon damage. Artosis had a very negative opinion on how powerful this ability was, as he began to lose ground and the Zerg player pushed him back to his main base. Artosis strongly presented his opinion regarding how allegedly bad this Zerg player was, and then promptly resigned. I have no real opinion on Artosis himself from this clip, but the Defiler conundrum did intrigue me. I posted my limited knowledge opinion in the comments section of the video, perhaps suggesting my response if I was in his situation. Tackling the conundrum of the overpowered Defiler was, however, not the final takeaway I had acquired. Instead, I started thinking about my own experiences with online multiplayer games, and I started to wonder, why did I stop playing them? I like the challenge of overcoming a conundrum like that of the Defiler in this case, so that isn't it. I think the problem lies in the obsession, both in my opponent's obsession with winning a match and my obsession with countering a problem with a solution. Consider this. You are presented with a set of 10 questions, and you are expected to provide 10 answers. In kind, you are expected to play 10 matches against an opponent, and you are expected to win 10 of those matches. It has been common for me to play the first match and answer the first question, being expected to answer with the appropriate response. Should I fail to do so, I can become obsessed with the question asked and the match presented. My response is to answer, but the first question has already been asked and the first match is already over. The second match is presented and the second question is now asked. Instead of responding to the first question and first match with my first answer, I end up responding to the second question from the second match with my first answer. The matches come and the questions are asked, but I do not answer correctly because I am obsessed. I do not know if that is what Artosis is experiencing, but I know that the human element of a problem tends to swap questions and tactics whilst you try to provide an answer, because the human obsession is winning. I can't blame people for that, though, and perhaps obsession is an overzealous description of a condition. The game is simple, despite its complexities, and acknowledges either defeat or victory. Victory, I suspect, is much more rewarding than defeat, and for good reason. People aren't interested in presenting tactics that can be defeated, and will adapt to prevent you from finding those weaknesses. Artosis may very well be a victim of people outplaying him, where he may only be interested in answering one question and one match only. Of course, I only have these clips to judge him by, and while I did wonder about his state of mind, my intention was to better understand myself from what I saw. I have a nostalgia for Starcraft Broodwar, amongst other online multiplayer games. So why did I give them up? Well, for Starcraft Broodwar, I stopped playing because I moved away from my friends who played it, and I never technically played online before, only LAN matches. But for other games, like Command & Conquer, Tiberium Dawn, Red Alert 2, Yuri's Revenge, Age of Mythology, and Halo Wars, I just gave them up. Why? Maybe I was embarrassed. Maybe I was obsessed with the possible solutions to problems, but frustrated that I wasn't good enough to make those solutions work. Maybe I somehow knew that the solutions would work, but I felt like no one would acknowledge those solutions if someone like me failed to make them work. So maybe I was, or wasn't, worried about my reputation. Maybe I was worried that my unworthy opinions would spoil the community's opinions on the things I was defending. For example, in the Command & Conquer Tiberium Dawn community, it is commonly believed that Nod is a stronger faction than GDI. I saw this as a challenge and attempted to perfect my GDI versus Nod gameplay, even obsessively. I faced challengers and I built a solid strategy for defeating them, but then the players got stronger, experts, professionals. I'm not confident in high-intensity, long matches, and I was failing to execute my plans properly. I made the mistake of increasing my speed and ended up damaging my APM. I was drowning in my own obsession, and I started to believe I was just a bad player. I hated myself for being so incompetent. In the end, I cut ties with the game and stopped playing. I even stopped talking to the people I used to play with. It was a disaster. I wonder if Artosis is afraid of such an outcome. Just a thought, perhaps. Forever forward we march. This is GD signing off. Until next time.